a sudden me feel like this relief, right? I feel this welcome back to my channel, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have not already done so, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and also click the like button and share all my videos with your friends, your family, everybody, right? As we in Marshall say, share it like food. All right, so today's video is going to be, as you see in the title, my labor and delivery. Yeesh. Before I get into it, you can look out for videos from me every Wednesday and Sundays. I'm going to try to post twice a week, and I'm gonna try my very best to be consistent. So you can look out for videos from me every Wednesday and Sundays. All right, so my labor and delivery. Whew. So a lot of persons have asked me, and I think that's the main question for anybody who's ever had a child. People ask you, so how was it? And let's just get into it. So for me, as you would have known if you have watched my previous video, which is my pregnancy journey, you would have known that I had a high risk pregnancy, and so there was a lot that could go wrong, but we were always praying for the best and so on. So my due date was February 17th. That's the date I got. And of course, early on in the pregnancy, they give you like an estimation, so they can't really say for sure until it's pretty late in the pregnancy. So when I was about 30 weeks or a little bit later, it was confirmed that my due date would have been February 17th. That would be when I would be 40 weeks. So if you know, that's how long women are pregnant for, 40 weeks. Please forgive me. You know what, before I continue, I want to say shout out to all the persons who messaged me and told me that, you know, you're glowing, you look good. I appreciate it. I'm not wearing any makeup this week, so this is my real face. Yes, this is my real face, and I'm very much not glowing, but thank God for makeup, right? Last week, but I'm not wearing any makeup this week, but I really appreciate the comments. You're very sweet. I mean, I'm still trying to feel like myself again, because honestly, during my pregnancy, I felt like I was probably the ugliest pregnant woman. Like I felt like pretty. No, I never felt pretty during my pregnancy. I never felt like I was glowing. I think that skipped me completely. And if this video isn't long, then I'm going to post a like a time lapse of my pregnancy, so you can see what I looked like before. Of course, you knew what I looked like before, but what I looked like during is what a lot of persons might be curious about, right? I didn't take any pictures like that. Especially, I wish I had taken body pictures postpartum, like early postpartum, but and I don't think I've taken any full body pictures still 3 months later. So there's that, and I want to be completely transparent as well. I want to do like show you what my body looks like and the goal. So that's going to be a different video, because I've done some manifestations for this year as well, that by December or by January 1st 2022, hopefully I would have hit all those goals. Like, I am so serious about them, and my body is one of them. Thank God I didn't put on a lot of weight during my pregnancy, but like I said, that's another video. So back to what I was saying. So um on December 17th, I would have been 40 weeks. Because I was high risk, I was worried, and also my doctors were worried that maybe the baby would come early, because I mean, if 3 months he was ready to come, then yeah. So, like any pregnancy, the doctors will tell you the baby may come 2 weeks before your due date or 2 weeks after your due date, right? Or they can come before, right? That 2 week period. So I flew to Grand Turk. That's where I had my baby. That's, where I kept going. I went there in January. So after Christmas, I went there the second week of January. Just to be safe, because my doctor did not want me flying or anything like that. Again, normal thing for a pregnant woman, you don't want them to fly very close to their due date. And so I went earlier than planned, however, because being high risk. So I went there, and we had to rent an apartment, of course, again, because we have no friends and family there. And we were there. One of the mothers here, I taught her daughter. She told me, she kept telling me, listen, do a lot of walking, make sure you get some exercise in, it will also help the baby to drop down more, and so on. And I wasn't really taking a lot of advice during my pregnancy, because I find that, when you get pregnant, like, everybody wants to bombard you with advice. Like, everybody wants to have a say. And it's not that I'm against advice, but I feel like a lot of times the advice that people can give you, especially about pregnancy, can cause a whole lot of anxiety. And I try not to do that. Like, if somebody reaches out to me and they'll ask me, like, what's this like, what's that like, I'll say, this is my experience. It might not be your experience, but this is what my experience was like, right? And so that was the advice that I really, really liked. And of course, early on, as I had said in my previous video, my doctor didn't want me doing any exercise, any walking or whatever. But as it got closer to my due date, I was going for my weekly checkups, and of course she would check me and tell me, if the baby had dropped down or if he was high or whatever it was. And 2 weeks before I had given birth, so when I was 38 weeks and I went in for my checkup, even though I was walking every day, I was walking every single day. Every day. I was walking every day. And if I wasn't walking, there was almost like a scheme that we were in, so I'd walk around the scheme. And if I couldn't do that, then I would walk up and down the stairs every day, and then I would try to get some squats in. But let me tell you something. So when I reached that far in a pregnancy, squats coming like, I don't know, the furthest thing for your mind you want to do is squats, right? Unless you feel big and strong and you feel like, yeah, me can do this, or you were already really active, like, as it relates to fitness and so on. So I would do like 5 squats, and that I would be wiped out. As it got closer, I would try to do like 10 squats sometimes, not every day, not every other day, like once a week, twice a week. That was me, or whenever my head did feel like, yeah, right? And so I would do that. And as I said, when I was 38 weeks, I went for my checkup, and she was like, yeah, the baby has turned and everything is okay, but he's still pretty high. He's still a bit high. And I was like, oh my God, seriously? That means I'm not come? Because I was really thinking he was gonna come early. And so I was already preparing myself for that. And then on top of it, like I said, high risk and everything, I didn't want to go very far into the pregnancy, because I knew there was some things that scared me, because I know that the doctor would say that if you're too far along, like if you go 41 weeks, then you might have to do a C-section. And I was nowhere prepared for a C-section. Like, I already told myself I wasn't going to do a C-section. I was scared of any form of surgery, anything to do with I don't know, hospitals and so on, I've usually been afraid of it. Like, that's just me, right? And so I already told myself I'm not reading up on anything C-section wise. I'm praying to God that I won't have to do a C-section or anything like that, right? And so when she told me that the baby, was still pretty high, I was so disheartened because I don't know, I was just ready for him to come. Mostly because I was away from home. Of course, not Jamaica, but home, on the island that we live on, because you're away from all your comfort. So it's a new bed, it's new everything, new environment, and all of that. And as I had said, during my pregnancy, I kind of shut down. So I didn't really want to talk to people a whole lot or anything like that. Of course, that's the time that people will want to check in on you to make sure that everything's okay, you're not too anxious, you're not too worried, and so on. And also, at that stage as well, I didn't really want to hear people telling me, like, okay, when you reach, this is what you're going to do, or whatever. I already read up on everything. I already prayed about everything. I didn't really want anything to make me anxious, like extra anxious and worried about anything, like, and feeling, because I was already thinking about what the pain was going to be like, because people were telling us what the pain was like. I was watching a ton of labor and delivery YouTube videos, and my husband was like, why would you watch that? Like, why would you? And I'm like, listen, I want to know. I was watching a lot of midwives talking about how to lessen the pain when you're pushing and all of that when you're in labor, and that was it for me. So I read up on a lot of things, and I know that reading and watching it and being in the situation are two different things, but I wanted to be prepared for almost anything. So I was practicing my breathing and all of that, which I think is very, very important as well. And when I went for my 39-week checkup, the baby had to come down some more, so the walking was working. And she had given me the go ahead before. Well, I had changed doctors. I think I went through like 3 or 4 doctors when I went to that island, actually, before I gave birth. Yeah, I went through that many doctors because my doctor, as I said, had gone off on maternity leave, and so I guess they were having doctors temporarily there for whatever reason. So I'd gone through like 4 doctors, to be honest. But of course, they all communicated with each other, or the information was already on the computer, so they could see, that I was high risk, this was that, and so on. And of course, they were all friendly, so I could have conversations with them to tell them like my concerns and so on every week. So when I was 39 weeks, that doctor told me, oh, well, yeah, I can see that the baby, is lower and so on, and everything's normal. And at that time, I remember asking, there's no chance of me doing a C-section, right? Like, you don't see any risk, any, you don't see anything, alarming that would cause me to do a C-section. And they were like, no, you're fine, everything. And I'm like, okay, I prayed about it. Fine, leave it. One of the concerns as well, I asked her, could you induce me? Because, like I said, I was ready to go. Mostly because I was away from home, and I just was uncomfortable with a lot of things, right? And she said, no, unfortunately, they're not able to induce until 40 weeks or 41 weeks and so on, when, you've passed the time. So she did tell me that if I came in for my checkup the following week, which would make me 40 weeks, which would have been my due date, then if I wasn't dilated, or if it didn't seem like any sign of labor or anything was there, then she could induce me the following day, right? Let me tell you, girl was ready to go. I had castor oil. I read about castor oil. I heard somebody had told me about using castor oil and it worked as well. Of course, I was scared because I didn't want anything to happen. I read up on, you know, pros and cons, and of course the cons was it could cause harm to the baby. You know, it could cause the baby to defecate inside of you, which could basically poison your body, right? The baby could also eat it and die. So I was concerned about that, but there were more persons who were sharing stories about using it and it worked for them. So girl, go try castor oil. How much time I try castor oil? Twice. So I'm gonna do it the first time. I bought a small, like it was so hard to get castor oil, right? I say if I'm in Jamaica, like everywhere I go, I can't get castor oil. Anyway, it was so hard to get castor oil. There was none at the supermarket. There was none at the pharmacy that was there. So, you know, I was desperate. So, there's a shop close by that my husband and I usually walk to. So we went around there and just I was like, because it's a small shop, so I'm thinking if the supermarket not have it, them not gonna have it. But just my mind just tell me say, you know what, ask the lady if she have castor oil, and not castor oil for ear, but just ask her if she have that natural castor oil thing. I asked the lady and she say yes, but she doesn't have the one for here. So she had things say, I mean here me want it for somebody. I said no, I don't want that one. I want the other one, the pure castor oil. She say yes. When me look, the lady have a small bottle of castor oil. So I'm like, yes, that is the one I want. Not the one for here, the one that you swallow. You know, the one that helps when you're constipated and so on. So she said yes. So I was so excited. So I said, all right, babe. I was scared too. So I said, all right, babe. I gotta take the castor oil in at the night. The lady said, take it in at the night after you eat dinner so that your labor can start like in a late night and have baby early morning. So I said, all right, that works. That works. Mind you, I don't want to say like I just did that. That was one of the things I had asked the doctor about at my 39 week checkup as well, because I don't want to just tell anybody that, you know, go ahead and use castor oil or whatever it was. No, it is no. Especially when you're pregnant, you want to definitely check with your doctor about everything. You might be scared, or you might feel like they might look at you funny, because I was thinking, what if she look at me funny and I think that girl a country, we want to use castor oil for or whatever. But that was one of the things that I also had primrose oil that I was using previously for like period cramps and so on, and I had read that that was really good as well. So I asked her about both of them, and she said that she wouldn't advise that I take the primrose oil, and then she said, you know what, you can try the castor oil, try it, not a whole lot of it, and see if it works for you. And so I felt more comfortable using the castor oil, and so I did. So use it, feel like a funniness in my belly, and I say, maybe I eat this, yeah. Get a little bit excited but a little bit anxious as well. And then also it makes you go to the bathroom a lot. So I was like, Lord God, like in the back of my mind I'm saying, I don't want to go in a labor, go in the people in good hospital and mess up the people in place and so on, all for the sake of labor. But anyway, I wanted that baby out. So did the castor oil, feel like a funniness, get like a excited. Nothing happened. Went to the bathroom. That was it. Got the bathroom, sit down on the toilet. TMI, but yeah, that was me for back and forth for like 1 hour. Then feel normal again. No little stirrings, no nothing. So I went back. Lord gee, that video long again. Alright, so again, I might have to cut this in two. Sorry. So anyway, I gave up on it. I was like, you know what, whatever. Had the orange juice with it, it never worked. It was a small bottle, as I said. Finished the bottle. Did I no, I didn't finish the bottle. Actually, I had that bottle still. So there was like half of it left. I took the dosage that they told me to take, that I read I listened to on YouTube and so on. So that never worked. Coming down now to the 48 week, I may say, oh my god, what's happening? I need something. So I waited 2 days before I tried again. Try the castor oil again. I may say, alright, this time it must work. It never worked first time, it must work this time. Try it again. Same thing. Bathroom. You know, meme said bathroom. Bathroom tech me. So this time it was worse than before. So back and forth, multiple times. And I was like, you know what? Me not try this again. Listen to me, sir, young sir. Whenever you come, okay? Mommy waiting on you patiently this time. So I was praying a whole lot that week, and I was saying, God, I read up on, you know, being induced and so on, and I was getting a little scared as well, because I had read too that they said, you know, if the doctors induce you and nothing happens within 24 hours, then they might try again, or you may end up, you know, have to do a C-section. So that week I was praying a whole lot, and I was like, God, please just get me dilated 1 centimeter. When I go to the doctor, make sure tell me something 1 centimeter dilated. I would feel so good, right? And so my appointment came, and 40 weeks, due date February 17th. Valentine's Day gone already. Can already rule out the Valentine's baby. All of that. Valentine's gone. No. Usually my husband has online class, so he would stay home and I would walk to the hospital. It was literally right next door to us, but I would have to walk around to it. There was a fence separating us, like the yard and the hospital, so I would literally have to walk around, which was fine with me because it wasn't very far. So I would walk, but this time he said he was gonna come with me, right? And while he was waiting in the waiting area, then he would do his online class and so on. So I'm like, okay, fine. So came and he was waiting, and the doctor, we heard, had to do like an emergency surgery or something, so of course we had to wait longer than usual. So he was getting a little antsy, and he was like, I have to go back, I want to go back so I can prepare for the next class and all of that and so on. And he was, you know, you could see that he was still concerned, because I had explained everything to him. Every week I would go home and I would tell him this is what the doctor says, so he knew my concerns as it relates to being induced and all of that. So my turn, we went in to see the doctor, and I was like, well, I'm 40 weeks today, you know, that means, you know, I'm gonna have to be induced and all of that and whatever, you know. And she was like, you know, looking at me like, okay, so you're so excited and whatever. And I'm like, yeah. So went on the bed for my checkup, lay down, everything, girl ready. Check me, cause me know say nothing happen, because me no feel funny, me no feel no way, nothing happen for me. So, you know what, doctor, just check me. I did the castor oil, it never worked. My husband's cousin had told me, you know what, girl, have sex, have whole heap of sex. May I said that? Let me tell you, I'm not even gonna go into that sex thing. Most uncomfortable thing I've ever done in my life, I think, down there. Like pregnant, like 40 weeks pregnant, 39 weeks, like when you're nobody wants to do that. Anyway, so that advice I'm a rule out. I did already Google it and do YouTube and watch people say, does sex, you know, cause you to go into labor, all of that. Some people say yes, some people say no. Girl, try it, because like I said, I was ready. But they ready for try anything. So I'm a big married lady. I can talk about sex like that, yes? Okay. And I'm 30 tomorrow. I mean, me a big woman, right? So lay down, ready for me check up. The lady did a finger, and I go on. So me I say, what's happening? So she said, oh my God, you know that you are 4 centimeters dilated? What? Wait a minute. What? 4, like this many? Like this many? 4? Because I think this is how they measure, right? Based on their fingers. This is what they're, going to. If you don't know the pregnancy thing work, go and go Google it. Anyway, somebody said, this many? No, sir, I'm gonna feel no way. I say, you sure? She said, yes, but I can feel that the baby has his hand on his face. So she said, oh, this seems like it's going to be, it could be any time now, later on or so on, because 4, like me said, this many, she said 4. Girl excited. So she's saying the baby's hand is on his face, so she want to try move it, and thing. And she dear know, and she doing, of course, me uncomfortable and whatever. But my husband is there. Anytime I'm there, anywhere me there, I'm uncomfortable or I'm in a pain, me always feel better. Like I just feel more at peace, more relaxed. So he's beside me because he's down where the doctor is. He's beside me and all of that. All of a sudden, me feel like this relief, right? I feel this. I didn't hear a sound or anything. Like some people said them hear like a pop or whatever. I didn't hear anything. I just felt like, and she was like, calmly, like, not now. I'm like, oh, it seems, because she said, she had tried moving hand, as me say, oh, it seems your water broke, like that, like nothing. So me I say, look, me can't see nothing. So me look down on the ground now, me realize there's a lot of like water, pink water running down on the floor, and I'm like, wait a minute, I thought I had time. So my slippers up on the floor, slippers wet up, my husband is there, whatever. So she again calmly said, well, mommy, it seems as if the baby will be coming tonight, sometime today or tonight. So I'm going to want your husband to go home and get your things and so on and bring them back here, because you won't be leaving the hospital today. You will be admitted.